What was the last advertisement that you remember seeing? What was the ad trying to sell you? The multitude of advertisements around us each day is a key reminder that we are consumers. From the youngest child to the oldest individual, we are encouraged to buy goods and services. The purchase of these goods and services can have a large impact on whether or not we are successful in our financial management. If we buy too much or buy things that we don't need, we may run the risk of damaging our financial status. In this unit, we will consider some consumer areas that may influence our financial management. We will examine some strategies for purchasing wisely, the influence of advertising on consumers, and the risk of identity theft. These areas can be just as important to successful financial management as activities like saving and budgeting. Consumer buying decisions. Each day, we are faced with purchasing decisions. We see ads on television, in magazines, and on billboards for products that we can buy. We go into grocery stores, restaurants, or convenience stores and face decisions about what to buy to eat. We make decisions about what retail stores to enter and which products to buy. While we may not purchase something every day, most adults will purchase items on a regular basis. Examining successful financial management would be incomplete if we didn't stop to consider how our consumer actions impact our finances. It's often easy to see how large purchases impact our overall financial bottom lines. But it can be a bit harder to see how small purchases impact our finances, both positively and negatively. Experts recommend several different strategies for purchasing items wisely. Using these strategies can help you manage your money more successfully and allow you to put more toward your financial goals. While you may not always be able to use each strategy, employing them whenever possible will benefit your financial status. One of the first tips that experts suggest is timing your purchases for sales whenever possible. Most items will have particular times of the year when they are more likely to be on sale or marked down in price. If you can wait to purchase an item until it is on sale, you can use the money you didn't spend to increase a savings account or use it toward an investment. For example, holiday sales or times when items are placed on clearance to make room for new models can be good times to purchase the items you want. Clothing often goes on sale as retailers clear space for the next season's clothing. Summer clothing is often placed on sale as fall approaches, for example, and winter clothing is often placed on sale as spring approaches. Likewise, patio furniture often goes on sale toward the end of the summer, although you may also find sales on things like grills around the Father's Day holiday. Researching when items are likely to go on sale or on clearance can help you prepare to purchase at those times when you are likely to get the best prices. In addition to searching out sales and clearance items, consider joining co-op or warehouse stores to gain discounts and lower prices on items ranging from groceries to home building supplies. These types of businesses generally charge a yearly fee for access to their inventory, but they can offer considerable savings over buying at regular retail prices. Sam's Club and Costco are examples of these types of services. For a yearly membership fee, you can buy bulk groceries, household supplies, and household merchandise through their warehouses. As with other types of stores, you'll need to compare pricing to ensure you're getting the best deals on particular items. Depending on your area, you may be able to find other types of businesses that offer significant savings over retail prices in exchange for a yearly membership fee. In addition to these types of stores, you can find co-op grocery stores that sell you a share in the store for a small yearly fee and then offer you savings on your grocery bills. Store selection is an important part of wise shopping. For many items, you will have a choice of where to buy them. In determining where to buy something, we may consider factors such as the price of the item we want, the location of the store, the selection of products, and any other services that the store may offer. Increasingly, we are also considering online stores when shopping for items. Even locally, we may have the option of superstores, department stores, local independent stores, and used item or thrift store locations. Each one of these options has both advantages and disadvantages that we need to weigh when making our decision. For example, you may find a low price on an item at a particular store, but you'll need to drive for over an hour to pick up the item. A store just down the street may have the item at a slightly higher price, but it would save you the driving time and gas costs. Likewise, some individuals consider the possibility that they will need to return an item and weigh the convenience of returning an item locally or to an online source. Price comparison is an important factor to consider when thinking about purchasing an item. One area where price comparison can be important is in choosing between several sizes of an item. For example, imagine that you want to buy a bag of chips. There is a small bag that is priced at $2 and a large bag priced at $3.75. To determine which bag gives us the best price for the amount of chips, you would divide the price of the item by the number of the units, such as ounces, pounds, or another measurement. While larger sizes are often the best buy in terms of price per unit, this may not always be the case for every product. Price comparison also allows you to compare the unit price between different sizes of an item, as well as between different brands. Another price comparison consideration is the use of coupons or rebates. While coupons were traditionally found in the Sunday newspaper, coupons can be found in many more places today, including online websites that cater to those looking for coupons. Sometimes rebates are also available. Rebates are a partial refund of the purchase price of an item. In addition, it can be helpful to keep other pricing aspects in mind when purchasing items. For example, sales may not always save you money, and ready-to-use products may be more expensive than those that you will need to construct or put together. In the case of food, ready-to-eat or prepackaged meals tend to cost more than buying staple foods in bulk, items such as potatoes, rice, beans, lentils, pasta, vegetables, cheese, meats, etc., and cooking your meals from scratch. Advertising and consumer choices. Are you influenced by the advertisements that you see? Many of us would probably answer that ads have absolutely no effect on the goods and services that we buy. We may argue that we make up our own minds on what to buy and when to buy it. We might even think that those who are influenced by advertising must be naive or less smart than we are not to see through advertising promises. Research, however, suggests that advertising has an effect on most, if not all of us. In fact, if advertising were not effective on us, companies would not spend the billions of dollars per year that they do to get us to buy their goods and services. They know that ads affect our consumer decisions, and they use advertising to influence us toward their products. Advertising is communication that aims to motivate or persuade people to buy a product or service. Generally, advertising is paid for by sponsors. Sponsors may be for-profit companies, or they may be nonprofit organizations that are hoping to motivate people to consider their ideas or donate to their causes. Advertising has a long history. Archaeologists and historians have identified ancient forms of advertising in the ruins of Pompeii, on ancient Egyptian papyrus, and on the walls of caves around the world. In order for advertising to be successful, the ads first have to be seen. This is partially why we see ads in so many places, including television, the internet, magazines, on the sides of buses, in public transit stations, and along roads. In order to get us to pay attention to these ads, sponsors may include important information about the product, use humor, have a well-known celebrity in the ad, or create an ad that people will find entertaining enough to hold their attention. New ads may be produced regularly, since studies show that we are less likely to pay attention to ads we've already seen. Once the ad has our attention, it then has to give us information or a message about the product in a way that is meaningful and clear. Perhaps you've seen an ad and wondered what the ad was selling. In that case, the ad has failed to make its message clear. Ads have to tell us what they are selling and why we should be interested. As consumers evaluate the claims in an ad, sponsors have to make sure the claims and information are believable. The goal of the advertiser is to create in the consumer a positive attitude toward their product or service in order to make the consumer more likely to buy that product or service. As consumers, we need to be able to wade through the various advertising techniques designed to make us buy products. By knowing about these techniques, we can better assess the products and services and make educated consumer choices. Some of the common techniques that sponsors use in advertising include weasel words. This technique involves the use of positive words without actually really making any guarantee. The name for this technique comes from the way that weasels eat eggs. They suck out the inside of the egg, but leave the shell in place so that the egg looks fine. Some common weasel words that appear in ads are helps, virtually, like, up to, the feel of, and so on. For example, an ad might say that a detergent will leave clothes virtually spotless. The ad is betting that you'll skip right over virtually and focus on spotless, even though the ad is not promising that you'll have spotless clothes. Endorsements. In ads with endorsements, a celebrity or other well-known figure is included in the ad, recommending the product. Testimonials are similar to endorsements, but come from individuals who claim to have used the product and who recommend it. Some endorsements include a testimonial by the celebrity, but others just imply that the celebrity or well-known figure uses the product. Facts and figures. Some ads will try to sway you with the presentation of statistics or scientific claims about their products. You've probably seen ads that claim something like 9 out of 10 dentists recommend a particular toothpaste. Some ads will claim that their product works a particular percentage better than other brands. In many cases, the other brands are not identified, and the consumer isn't told the specifics of the scientific study. The sponsor is hoping we'll be impressed enough with the statistics that we don't try to verify the information presented to us. Card stacking. This technique involves advertising all of the good things about a product while ignoring the negative aspects of the product. For example, a product may claim to be healthy and without any trans fats, while being loaded with sugar and other unhealthy ingredients. Glittering generalities. This technique involves using appealing words to sell the product. The implied message is that if you buy the item, you'll gain these appealing aspects. For example, cosmetics focus on how users will look younger and more beautiful. Since being younger and more beautiful are things that people may want, they may buy these products based on the implication that this will happen. Assessing the ads that you encounter can help you make better consumer choices. When you see an ad about a product, think critically about the ad and consider what tactics the sponsor seems to be using to get you to buy the product. Protecting your identity. One of the challenges that consumers face in modern society is keeping their identity safe. Identity theft happens when someone takes personally identifying information, such as a social security number, a driver's license number, or other information, and uses that information to commit fraud or other crimes. In the United States alone, experts estimate that over 9 million individuals are victims of identity theft each year. Identity theft can take a range of forms. Criminals may use the personal identity of another person to open a credit card account, buy items such as electronics, open telephone or other accounts, and even rent apartments. In these situations, the criminal uses these opened accounts, but doesn't pay for the goods and services. The person whose identity was stolen will often be unaware that his or her name and personal information was used until that person applies for credit or checks a credit report and finds unpaid bills reported. For the individual whose identity was stolen, this crime can have devastating effects. Although some individuals can clear their names and credit histories fairly easily, others may spend a great deal of time and money trying to restore their identities. During the time that it can take to identify and restore a person's identity, the victim may lose out on jobs, loans, and other opportunities because of the bad credit report. In some cases, the victim may even experience legal issues until the situation can be cleared up. The effects of this can be great for individuals and families. not only in terms of the financial cost, but also in the emotional cost that comes from fighting identity theft. Individuals, companies, and law enforcement may not believe an individual who has been a victim of identity theft, making the victim have to prove his or her innocence. Identity theft can happen in a number of different ways. Think about all of the places where you have to provide personal information. In today's society, we use credit cards to buy items at many different locations. We have to give personal information to rent apartments, start utilities like gas and electric, apply for loans or credit cards, and we have to establish our identity in other ways when we apply for membership cards at places such as libraries and video rental stores. Each of these moments represents a time when identity thieves could steal our information and use it to commit fraud or other criminal acts. Let's look at some of the most common ways that identity thieves steal personal information. Trash. One way that identity thieves steal personal information is to go through your trash looking for your name and other personal information on the things that you throw away. Many bills, banking notices, and other official mail contain at least some personal information, such as your name, address, and partial account numbers. If you dispose of old checks in your trash, thieves can take and use those as well. Stealing. Another way that identity thieves may get your personal and account information is the old-fashioned method of stealing your purse, wallet, bag, and so on. They may also steal the mail out of your mailbox. Changing addresses. Sometimes identity thieves will change the home address of a person in order to obtain bank statements or other bills with account numbers and personal information. Like having your wallet stolen, this tactic is one where people may quickly recognize that something has happened. However, by the time the individual may realize that mail is not reaching his or her home, the identity thief likely already has all of the information necessary to steal that person's identity. Phishing. This happens when an identity thief calls or emails you pretending to be someone else in order to get your personal information. For example, an identity thief might call you pretending to be from your bank or credit card company. They may ask you to verify your information for some reason, such as a problem with your account. Since you will want to clear up any problems, you may be tricked into giving the thief your password, account numbers, or other personal information, such as your social security number, which the thief then uses to steal your identity. Pretexting. This tactic involves obtaining your personal information under false pretenses. One of the common tactics of pretexting is for the pretexter to call your bank or other financial institution pretending to be you or someone else who is authorized on the account. The individual may claim that he or she has lost their account information or needs some of the information for another seemingly legitimate reason. Pretexting is sometimes combined with other methods of obtaining your personal information. For example, an identity thief may get your bank statement out of your trash and use the information on your account statement to get more information out of the financial institution where you have the account. Skimming. This involves special devices that steal your credit card or debit card information when you use the card for a purchase. For example, thieves may place a skimming device on a gasoline pump or on an ATM. When someone swipes a card, the skimming device stores the information from the card. When the thieves retrieve the information from the device, they have credit card and/or debit card information from whomever has used the nearby point-of-sale scanning machine. Skimming devices can be difficult to identify since they are designed to blend in, and the credit card scanners that are used to legitimately record this information look different from place to place. These tactics are some of the common ones used to gain personal information for criminal purposes. Once identity thieves have your information, what do they do with it? Identity thieves may use your information for a variety of criminal activities, but most centers around some type of fraud. For example, an identity thief may use your personal information to open new credit card accounts, then charge items to those accounts, and fail to pay what has been charged. These delinquent accounts then appear on your credit report, bringing your score down, and the credit card company may try to collect the amount charged from you. Another type of fraud that an identity thief may commit is obtaining government documents, such as a driver's license or social security card in your name. They may use your social security number to obtain government benefits. They may also give your name to law enforcement officials for tickets or for arrests, which can result in your arrest when the thief doesn't show up for court. These are just a few of the ways that identity thieves commit fraud with personal information. Generally, any account that can be opened in your name and which could benefit the identity thief in some way, phones, utilities, taxes, government benefits, etc., is at risk and could result in negative consequences for you, even though you are the victim of fraud. Given the risks of identity theft and the multitude of ways that identity thieves can gain your personal information, how do you protect yourself and prevent identity theft from happening? Experts recommend the following to help you prevent identity theft. Avoid giving out your social security number. While you may be required to do so in some circumstances, such as for tax purposes at a new job, you should try to keep this information as private as possible. When utilities or other businesses ask for your social security number to begin service, ask if you can provide another form of identification instead. You should also avoid placing your social security number on checks or using it in other ways that make it accessible to others. Check your credit report and other financial accounts regularly. Experts recommend that you examine your financial accounts, including bank and credit card accounts, once a month to check for any unusual activity. Checking your credit report regularly can also alert you to any accounts that may have been opened in your name or accounts that are not being paid. Shred bills, statements, unused or canceled checks, and other mail that may include your personal information when you are finished with them. This prevents an identity thief from getting this information from your trash when you throw it out. Avoid giving out any personal information over the phone unless you initiated the call to a reputable business. If a business that you use calls you and begins asking for personal information, do not give out the information. Instead, call the business back and make sure that the company does need your information. Likewise, avoid giving personal information away online. When you purchase items online, make sure that you are using a secure site and dealing with a reputable company. Doing the research to make sure that your information is safe can save you from many headaches down the road. Limit the number of places where your personal information can be found. Avoid carrying more IDs or credit cards than what you need. Cancel accounts that you no longer need or use. However, it is a good idea to write down your personal account numbers for credit cards, driver's license, and so on, in case your wallet is stolen. Keep the information in a safe place where you can access it to call the companies and alert them if your wallet and cards are stolen. Even when individuals take precautions, identity theft can still occur. If you suspect that someone else has stolen your identity, it's important to be proactive and stop the situation. Letting the situation go on, even for a short period of time, can result in problems and fraud, which will complicate your life. Experts recommend that you begin notifying companies and getting help immediately. One of the first steps that you can take is to place a fraud alert on your credit reports from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. This can stop the identity thief from opening any new accounts in your name. You only need to contact one of these credit reporting agencies, as that company is then required by law to contact the other two about a fraud alert. When filing a fraud alert, you are entitled to a free credit report. It's important to go over the report carefully to look for any unexpected issues. If the report contains inaccurate or fraudulent information, you'll want to work toward getting these items removed. Another step in dealing with identity theft is to close any account that you believe may have been affected. Call and speak with a representative of the credit card company or bank, and then follow up with them in writing about the issue. Experts recommend sending the written information by certified mail and keeping records of your communication with these companies to document when you inform them of the possible fraud. If there are charges or activity on the account that you don't recognize, follow the company's procedure for opening a dispute. If you find accounts that you did not open, you'll want to close and dispute those accounts. Make sure to change any passwords or personal identification numbers, PINs, with the company. When you have resolved any disputed charges with the company, ask for a letter from the company that they have closed the disputed accounts and taken care of the disputed charges in case you need proof to have the activity removed from your credit report. Experts also recommend filing a report with the Federal Trade Commission for U.S. citizens. The FTC has an identity theft hotline that you can call to report the issue. This report provides federal officials with more information about what happened to you. This information can then be compared to other identity theft cases, and it can provide more information about identity thieves to law enforcement across the country. Another step that can be helpful for some individuals is to file a report on the identity theft with the local police. When you create this report, it can be helpful to provide a copy of the report created by the FTC. Some local officials may be reluctant to create a report, but this can be an important part of restoring your credit history. In some states, you may also be able to place a credit freeze on your credit report. This prevents any third party from seeing the report unless you lift the freeze. This is primarily used to prevent an identity thief from getting approval on any new accounts. It is important to remember, though, that you will not be able to establish any new accounts until you lift the freeze so that lenders can review your credit report. Credit freezes are different from fraud alerts in several ways. Credit freezes prevent anyone from viewing your credit report, essentially blocking the creation of new credit accounts in your name. With fraud alerts, your credit report is still visible, but the company must contact you to verify that you are the person applying for the credit. Another difference is that fraud alerts are generally only allowed for individuals who have had their personal information stolen, but credit freezes can be placed by you for any reason, if this is allowed in your particular state. In this unit, we have learned more about some areas that affect our behavior as consumers. We've discussed some expert tips on making wise consumer buying decisions. We also learned more about advertising and how it can influence our buying decisions. We examined some of the common types of advertising techniques. Finally, we discussed identity theft, including how individuals can reduce the risk of becoming a victim of this crime.